Welcome to Young Techies. My name is Soham.
My name is Sanika.
And I'm Amaresh.
Mr. Techie, can we find prime numbers from 1 through 100?
Oh, so now basically what you're saying is we want to find all the prime numbers between a given range from 1 up to 100, right? Okay, so we basically have to check each and every prime number, and probably we can use the algorithm or the program that we used in a previous one and literally check it if it is prime or not. Make sense? Right. So this is a very good problem statement right here, and we are going to slightly deviate it here in terms of how we solve it. So essentially what we are doing now is we are going to merge two different techniques that we learned in the past, which is a prime number algorithm itself, right, and a for loop. So those two things we're going to use and we're going to find it, and we might put that prime number finder in a function, in a concept called function, which is a very important concept in programming to understand. So whenever program becomes complex to a certain degree, you can create a function out of it and you can reuse that function in multiple other applications. Does that make sense? Yeah, so that's what we will do. Okay, perfect, thanks. The way this algorithm works is actually it's a very simple once than the previous algorithm. All you're going to do is the previous algorithm that we have already put it in a function, and we're going to say call that function, right, all the way from 1 up to 100. So in the step 1 you really get a variable that will decide the range up to which you want to count the prime numbers. In the second step you just call the previous function and check if it is prime or not. The next step is you print it if it is prime, and if it is not prime you don't print it and you just end the loop. That's it. Alright guys, so now let's take a look at the program. So as you remember, we have this previous program that we used to find out the prime number, and using this program what we're going to do is we're going to put all the numbers from 1 to 100 that are prime. So the most important thing is to convert this program into a function that checks if a given number is prime or not. So let's see how we do that. So what we're going to do, we're going to say func, and it's going to be let's call it as prime checker. Okay, and then this parameter, which is the important parameter, let's just make it as a input parameter. So it's going to be an input parameter of type integer, as you can see, and guess what it returns? Yes, boolean. So it's going to return boolean. We don't need this here anymore. And now the important change that's going to happen is we are going to basically have a braces here. So that's that part. So that should take care of that. Another important thing which I was mentioning is we don't really need a bunch of code here, which is all this printing of prime number and everything. All we really need is we can get rid of this code here, and then all we really need is basically something that says return is divisible. Okay, so essentially it's a code inside a function, and this function is designed to say if a given number, that's check if prime, whatever that number is, if that number is prime or not. So that's the function that we're doing. Now let's do this. Now let's, on the top of all this, let's just create a for loop as we discussed previously. So let's just say for I in, doesn't matter what you use, you can use whatever, 1 to 100. Okay, let's make it a bracket, say if, in bracket, we know the syntax pretty well now. So it's a prime number. So it's basically this prime checker. Okay, we're going to say if prime checker in bracket check if prime, so basically this guy, prime checker, and assign this guy to I, right? And we're going to say if is equals true, because it's going to return either true or false, right? And if it returns true, then we're going to say print. Oh, I don't have it anymore to copy. Lazy me, I'll have to type it. So it's going to say I'm going to say print I. So if you remember the syntax, I'm going to say I is not a prime number, right? And then we're going to say in the else loop, I'm going to say else, let's just say it's the same one, say is a prime number. Make sense? So that's that, and then of course we have to increment the loop, so we're going to say I equals I plus 1. So that's the code. Now let's test and see if it actually works. So it looks like there was an issue with the bracket, and let's see what this guy does. So it's saying 1 is prime, 1 is prime. Oh my gosh. So the reason it's saying it's printing twice is because I didn't remove it from the function, so I don't have to keep it in a function. I don't have to keep it in function. So basically what I have to say is inside the function, instead of putting this, I'm gonna say if this is this, then is divisible is equal to true, if that makes sense, because that's the criteria. I hope you guys are understanding what I'm doing here. If not, just watch it again and again. So that should take care of this problem here, that duplications that we had, and now this program is working fantastic. And if you remember, our aim was not to write like this, but was basically just to say all the prime numbers. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this guy here. Let's just rerun the code. And boom. Okay, wait, I must have screwed up something here. Sorry. Yep, that is that. And there you go. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, and so forth up to 97. You can test this for 1 to whatever, 2000, who cares? Boom. Here you go. These are all the prime numbers. Make sense? Thank you. Thanks for watching. This is, by the way, a very important concept in your programming. If there is one most important thing in the programming, it's really functions and how to make those. Practically, that's you need like in almost every case. So pay very close attention to this video and just do it over and over again to make sure you have really grasped this concept well. Okay, thanks. Thanks for watching, Young Tech Kids.
If you like this video, click the like button and click the bell notification icon so you won't miss any of our videos.
And do not forget to subscribe.